You told a story once on the air, and it makes me laugh every time I think about it, where you said you were dating some girl, and she invited you over, and she was trying to be like sexy for you, so she opened the door and she was wearing like, and you were into like, she thought you were into jazz, like weird acid jazz.
Did I tell that on this show though? I don't know. I don't want to repeat myself.
I don't know if I think it was actually I think it was O&A you told it on, but dude, I get the visual from that story where she opens the
girl in the towel,
yeah, and she was wearing like she wanted to be sexy, so you said that she had shoes on, but she was wearing like terrible black flats.
It was brutal. It was brutal. I was dating this girl. All right, I gotta tell the story now for first-time listeners. Everybody else, take a bathroom break. I basically, you know, I was banging this broad over there. Right, I was hooking up with this girl, and it was great, man. We were having a good time or whatever. So she basically had this is how I met this girl. It was a great angry fuck. The first time I met her was, I was calling up to find out what my lodging was going to be at this college gig. And she was just being a jerk about it. She ended up sticking me in a hostel, which I had no idea what that was. And I showed up, and it was like me and some fucking Arabian sword swallower in like these bunk beds, right? So I was fucking pissed, right? And we already had we kind of had like this fuck you without saying it on the phone. So when she kind of had this attitude with me when I first showed up. So she booked me and this other comic who was missing part of his ear.
Ooh.
That's what and this really, I don't know why, dude. What, was I going to ask him? That's exactly what I should have said. I should have literally pointed at his ear going, ooh, why? No, I don't know. He's missing part of his ear. So I was like, wow, that's weird. You know, so he had to have like really like 70s length hair, right? So he ends up going up on stage, right? She's all proud of herself. That pissed me off. She booked 2 comedians, right? Mm-hmm. So I could have taken half that fucking money and actually had a decent place to stay. Long story short, the fucking dude with the fucked up ear goes up and has a fucked up set. He's bombing. And immediately she has this panicked look on her face, looking at me like, now I got to come in and save the day. So, of course, I went up there, and I had to follow this fucking guy who stunk. I went up and I killed. So immediately she wants to fucking bang me, but she couldn't because we're in Chicago, blah, blah, blah. So we ended up, why the fuck did I go? I literally went back like 200 pages in the story. Let me get to the point here. So, I'm banging this broad.
Wait, why couldn't you fuck her that night?
Oh, her fucking niece showed up, and I had a bunk bed, and she had no place to go. It was terrible. And you can just feel the vibe.
So then when did you end up fucking her?
She ended up calling me. She called my stupid college agent who gave her my home phone number. She's like, we're definitely going out. We're definitely partying.
Oh, she came to New York?
Yeah, she like moved here, right? So she was working at one of these universities here. And she was like in charge of the dorm. Like she checked in on all the kids. So I guess one of the things was you couldn't have any sort of, you couldn't have any candles. There were certain things that you couldn't have in your dorm room. Any sort of paraphernalia. If you did, you got in trouble. So she wanted to role play sex. She wanted me to be that guy, come over to inspect her room to make sure she didn't have any of the stuff there that she shouldn't have had. And her whole thing was she wanted to come to the door and nothing but a towel and high heel shoes. And of course I was going to go in there, find shit that she wasn't supposed to have, and then she would of course have to be disciplined.
And like you're showing up and going right into this. It's not like you guys were hanging out.
No. We'd already been going out for a while. I completely fucked up the story by telling other bullshit, right?
Okay.
So anyways, so basically by this point we're like three months into the fucking relationship, right? I've tried to get this thing going and it's not going good. Like she said she was into jazz, so I bought her like this John Coltrane CD. I tried to be a good guy, but we're basically, we get into this fight on the phone and I'm going over there and it's like, I'm thinking the whole way right over, like, I got to break up this girl. What the fuck am I even doing with this shit, right? I come up to the door. I knock on the door. He opens the door, and I'm already have this big breakup fight. She opens the door, and she's standing there, nothing but this towel, okay, and these high heel shoes. But they weren't sexy shoes. They were like this sensible shoe, and literally had like an eighth of an inch. Fucking, you know those shoes you wear so you don't have back problems as a chick? Yeah. You know, and that's what she's wearing. And in the background, she had put the CD on, the jazz CD that I got her. This is this big romantic moment. And I bought her this John Coltrane CD. I didn't know anything. So it's like this jazz that's like, so it's playing that. And she's standing there. She looked fucking ridiculous. And I was going to burst out laughing. But I knew if I laughed at her in that moment, you know, that I was going to ruin her for the next guy. She was going to be like, the next time the guy tried to touch her, she'd be fucking in the fetal position, drawn with like a purple crayon or something.
Right.
So what I did was basically, I had to play it off like she had like I was so surprised.
Right.
Because dude, my dick was literally slumped over on my fucking leg, like whatever, you're on your own. So I had to act like Like, I was so overwhelmed. And the first thing I did when I got in there was I got the fucking CD off. I shut that off. And then I was sitting there, and she was all proud of herself. Like, she had totally, like, seduced me. And she was sitting there with her fucking legs crossed. Do you know when they swirl their foot around? And I'm looking at that.
Was the toe? Was
stupid,
the shoe
and she
hanging?
with the fucking shoe on.
Was it hanging off, or was it?
No, it was still on. It was snug, and it was on, and she was all proud of herself, like she was this sexual vixen. And like, I wanted to smother her with the fucking towel. Somehow, I got the shoes off, and then I had to basically splice together every horrific porn scene I had ever seen to some. I just bent her over and I did it like a job. I literally got out of there.
Oh, there's nothing worse than a woman.
Can somebody throw something at me for how long that fucking story was? I can't believe you didn't
enjoyed it.
Oh, you did? Dude, you didn't even give me any sort of active listening.
I was listening.
I was getting paranoid that I was
the
bombing halfway
thing.
through. Well, I'm a defensive guy. Help me out here.
I enjoyed it.